this video is basically going to be like a yearly recap thing that that I plan on doing every year. This is really for my future self, for it basically replacing journaling. I like the idea of journaling so that I can, in the long future, look back on, how were things, in the past. My problem, I tried journaling, did like a couple, and I instantly realized a major problem is I have way too much to say than what I want to write. Like, writing's a lot of work. I have like a whole page in my head that takes me, it takes a lot of time to write out a page, and, it's like, shit, you got a lot more to say than that. And so, yeah, writing's just too much work, and I don't want to write that much. I'll post these videos public, but it's really for myself, so I'm not really going to make the video geared towards being watchable, especially in terms of pace, especially because I haven't done very much thinking or planning on what I'm even going to say in this video. I'm going to kind of, think of it as I go. I plan on doing these once a year. The reason that I am doing this one so late is because the end of the year was so incredibly hectic for me. With work situation, I was working overnights, had two interior jobs that nobody lived at, and both people thought that I was like fully for their job, and one person was really pressing on deadline, and I wanted to keep the other person happy, but still had to make their deadline. It was a lot of work. I was doing overnighters. And so I finished that, and then I did finish that like a week ago. And I was the checks in my bank account, it was a $10,000 labor job, and did it by myself in about a month while doing kind of another job, and actually quite a few other jobs along that way, a couple small jobs. What was I saying there? Yeah, I finished it. I put the check in the bank, but it's on hold and it doesn't get released for 2 more days. And I never feel like doing anything when when I don't have any money, which I don't like. I have like a serious money problem until that check comes through because I killed myself between these jobs. I didn't ask for a down payment for either of them, which was retarded. And I did for the one if I was going to get the paint, and then he said he'd get the paint, and I was like, okay, I guess I don't need a down payment, but definitely needed one. Sometimes customers act like a down payment's only for materials. But anyway, so yeah, I just don't feel like doing anything whenever I have no money, the stress of all that and everything. So I was still putting it off, and I was going to still wait, but today's a real good opportunity to do it, so there's no real reason to wait. So, let's get into it. To start the year, first of all, to start 2025, I was broke because we had just went to Nebraska for Christmas. The car broke down on the way. We put $1,000 into it. And this was the car that we just bought from Danny's uncle. For $1,500, and then we put $1,000 into it on the way up to Nebraska. Then we were in Nebraska. I think it snowed or something. Well, it don't really. Oh no, the guy wasn't getting the car done. That's what it was. We were waiting on him to get the car done in Kansas City anyway. So we got back. That wasn't a big deal, but we got back. A little like it was like January. It was January 3rd or 2nd or something. So. Not a big deal. So started the year off that way. I had no money, but I had a big job on the schedule with Morgan Costello, and that pretty much went terrible, but she was making some down payments, but it was in return for adding in a tremendous amount of work. She was very dishonest too and manipulative, and I was too soft, and we were adding a lot of work, and so that pretty much didn't, yeah, whatever, we uh, cut. I mean, I'll never work for her again. We're not on good terms. It came out, I mean, everything came out. It was like, you know, but whatever. So the beginning of the year, I was super busy, kind of, with Morgan's and getting backed up, whatever. So first part of the year was basically mostly just working. Didn't really have a lot of money for anything else that I can remember. I know I didn't play pretty much any poker. I played, I think, no online poker almost at all year. I ended up playing like a few days, giving Club WPT a shot, which I'll probably try it out again this year. But yeah, the first part of the year in 2025, I think it was pretty much just work at Morgan's, and I had some other jobs going on, and Morgan didn't like that I had other jobs to do and stuff like this. And her job took a while. It ended up being a really big job. It took, yeah, I mean, I was on it still in like March, and um, so yeah, the first quarter of the year was basically that. I don't remember too much else happening. Then in the summer, I ended up not being able to go to Vegas. I wanted to go back to Vegas. Didn't have the money. Things weren't going too hot. That's what I remember. So like financially and business wise, and looking back at the numbers on my sheet uh, for the business, for the painting business, it was pretty bad. My hourly rate was way lower than last year, and my total revenue was way lower from 2024. Uh, so that's kind of bad, pretty bad, really. But 2026 so far is already like looking super hot. It was looking super hot at the end of 2025. I finished 2025 really strong, like I said, being busy, really busy through December, and then also that $10,000 job, and the other one was a $5,000 job. Did both of them from Thanksgiving on, and all the money coming in January. So that didn't count towards the year, but still, so still for the year after tools and advertising and materials and everything, I was at about 23 an hour, 22 an hour actually, and yeah, that I'm pretty generous with including like cleaning brushes and going to bids and stuff. I try to view it as if I was if I was like another guy working for the company, what would I be charging the company for? And so it's like, you know, hour for a bit or whatever. Make sure you get your pay for cleaning brushes and stuff. But anyway, um, so yeah, about 23 an hour, which is pretty bad, and but it did include tools too, but whatever, it's still pretty bad. And the total revenue was really bad too, like a lot less. It was like 90 something thousand, and the year before, I think 2024 was like around 145,000 or something like that. Can't really remember exactly, but somewhere around there. But might have been 130 something thousand last year. But so it's kind of weird, but I don't know. And also through the first half of so I hired Mike Anderson in the spring, and he worked through till the fall. And he was very meticulous, but I don't think I ever made money on him. I think he was too slow. He's actually going to start again tomorrow. He's having family issues and stuff. So he was very like off and on. Like just missing days and stuff. But his woman was just like an alcoholic and just angry and crazy. So, yeah, and I hired another guy or so, through the spring and summer, and I fired him and stuff. And neighbor Jeff, worked for me a little bit. So, anyways, let's see. So that's kind of how it was. Still through like the summer, we're still just pretty much just grinding. Just had Mike. So like when I have an employee, I'm kind of like a little bit more disciplined and everything. And So I was grinding pretty good there. Still, like, no poker at all, really. Then, in this, it was like the end of the summer, like beginning of August or so, somewhere around there, Mike stopped showing up. And I never texted him, and he never texted me for a while, and then he ended up texting me. He said he moved to Kansas City, his woman, blah, blah, this and that. And then he said he got a job on over-the-road stuff and whatever. So, it was like, I guess this is a big reason why the year didn't go so hot, is because, first of all, for painting business, the first half of the year was um, all first half of the year was busy, but not making good hourly. I was having to make sure I kept Mike busy. I wasn't charging quite enough, maybe. And then Mike was kind of going a little too slow and whatever. Also, Mike was having like severe living issues for a while. Like his woman was kicking him out of the house. He was going between a hotel and staying at the house on my property, which like didn't have the plumbing set up. Like it still had leaks in the plumbing and other issues. So it was like I had to like putting them up in there and like fixing that stuff and whatever. Anyway, so yeah, the first half of the year is like I just wasn't making like good money or whatever, and I was probably losing money on Mike, I think, and probably everybody that worked for me, anybody else that worked for me. There was a couple guys that came in and came out. I fired them pretty quickly. Then so Mike stopped showing up, and the end of July, and then this is the other reason why I was getting to the business didn't do probably so hot, is because at that time, like beginning of the fall, end of some August, September, October, basically. I don't remember exactly, but I didn't have that much jobs. Um, and so like Mike fell off. Oh yeah, because I remember for my birthday, through July, uh, Danny's family came and stayed, and I didn't have work to do some of those days in July. And anyways, so I I but I did have like some, but it just was pretty light. I think it was like pretty light. Like I wasn't having to work all that much. Um, but up until July, I remember I was at 1,200 hours, and I ended up being just over 2,000 hours. In December, I worked like crazy. So between August, September, October, November, I yeah, work was going pretty easy. I wasn't real busy. So I guess that's a lot to do with why I didn't make that much money too. Um, so anyways, but I like had made some money maybe from, I mean like yeah, from like some of the exterior jobs, whatever. So Mike falls off, and we get we around this time too we get goats. And we got more chickens throughout the year, and the guineas. I can't remember if we had the guineas I think we had the guineas, some guineas the year before, but we got more guineas, more chickens. So we have 22 birds, 16 chickens, 6 guineas. We got the goats. First, we just got the 2 milk goats around this time in the late fall, and then we got the meat goat, which in like December or so, the dogs killed the meat goat. Unfortunate there, big time. They didn't like tear her up and kill her, like bleed her to death, and they didn't choke her to death. She had really hardly any wounds on her, but they were roughing her up, and she was laying down, seeming like acting like she had internal injuries, but not really sure. Then she died like right away. We brought her inside, tried to treat her up, and she died like within 5 minutes. ChatGPT said it could have been an adrenaline shock thing. Anyway, unfortunate. Zoe, she died. But we got the 2 milk goats that we still have in the plan. We haven't gotten the males yet, but we'll get a male and that kind of thing. So we're gonna shuffle out the male, not have the male quickly, not have the male all the time. We'll get a then sell him when he's done, and we'll get a male meat goat, and a couple months after he breeds, we'll butcher him, and then we'll butcher the male kids of the meat goat. The female kids of the meat goat will probably sell unless we keep them, because we could keep them, and then you're going to bring in another buck that can hump both of the mother and daughter. Yeah. So, and the kids from the milk goats will most likely sell them, unless we want to keep the females. But we don't really have space for all that, so we'll probably sell them. So let's play with the goats. So we got goats and more chickens and stuff, and so that occupied some part of the year too. And now this year, 2026, I'm going to be building a shelter for the goats. I wanted to do it at the end of last year, and I got too busy. But yeah, we got a pretty good system now for the chickens and goats. I mean, we mostly already had it for the chickens. The goats caused us a little issue because we didn't know that they would be obsessed with the chicken feed and that would kill them. So, but now we got a really good setup on that. We got it in like what I call the garden side, and the chickens can go under the fence, the gate, and the goats can't. Okay, so, anyways, onto the poker front, though, is where this was really gonna land quickly, was that God, I can't remember everything. Well, yes, I guess I do. So, in the spring, I did make one poker trip, and I won. I just played cash games, and I won. I think that was all. So, anyways, now in the fall, around this time, there's a tournament series came to St. Louis. I go to St. Louis, and I'm playing cash games, and I'm playing tournaments, and okay, yeah, that's right. So I go up on, like, Tuesday, and I'm thinking I'll stay till Sunday, but what was the deal there? No, I was thinking I would drive back every night, and just keep going back and forth. So I get up there on Tuesday, something like that, and I win a bunch in cash while I'm waiting to play a tournament, something like that, and then I play these tournaments, and I lose the tournaments, and, like, the last tournament, it was $250, and I late regged, and then, like, three times, I registered 3 times total, like, and it was like I late regged, like, right towards the end, like, having, like, 15 bigs or something like that. I got ace-king, got all in against 9s, and then, like, again, it was like I was getting, like, a hand to go all in with pre-flop right away, so I was busting in, like, a few hands. Anyway, so I lose, like, 1,200 in the tournaments, but I won a lot in the cash games. I can't remember exactly how much, but more than the 1,200, a lot more. Something like that. But then I decided that, like, I didn't really want to, like, go back and forth. It was too much. And I also decided that tournaments weren't worth playing. The people weren't playing bad enough, and then also the tax issue and everything. And everybody was talking about the Club WPT, that it was so soft and everything. So I decided to give it a shot. So I come home, I play Club WPT. It is soft, but it was also really hard to play on and stuff. You didn't get very much time, and even though the players were so bad, it seemed like you could make some money and stuff, but, yeah, I don't remember how much I put on there either, but it was like it went okay, but didn't end up, I think I ended up losing the money I put on there, but I can't really remember how that went right away. But I do remember that right away I thought that, I don't feel like I can make enough money playing on this. The stakes are lower than, like, when I mean, whatever. Like, maybe you can play the same, but really the stakes are higher live. If you do play those stakes online, you're playing, like, super high stakes. So anyways, so then I decided to go back to St. Louis for the weekend. This is when I get the Planet Fitness membership, which was clutch. I start staying the night and sleeping in the van for the weekend, and I showering at Planet Fitness and working out at Planet Fitness. Oh, while I was working out at Planet Fitness, that's another pretty thing, kind of a big thing that should be mentioned for the year about the running and the UFC. But I'll stick to the poker real quick to finish out this story. of the trip. I just tell this story because it's slightly significant. Um, so yeah, I go up Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Oh no, so I go up Thursday, Friday, Saturday, for Sunday, and so I got. Oh man, this is all tying in together because now we got to talk about the weed stuff. Ah, dang! I want to finish. I'll just summarize it real quick, just to say what I'm trying to get to is that I made. God damn it! How much? I made 13,000 or 12,000 that weekend. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, just playing cash games. I made like 12,000. And the reason I say I want to get that out there is because not only was that a big difference for how much money we had and whatever, but then it's going to go into the painting thing because then I start trying to sub jobs so I can keep playing poker, and that didn't go well. But yeah, the weed thing. So around this time, it was the beginning of August, that I had decided for one, I got really into this idea of running an ultra marathon. I had heard of it from Edwin the Kenyan that was working for me a year or two ago, and like these ultra marathons, 100, 200 miles. So I looked into them, and just from me looking into them, I got super intrigued because it was like, okay, the 100 mile, they run it records like 16 hours. You know, that's pretty good. I'm not gonna be able to do that probably. And then it was like the 200 mile, people ran it in like 55, 60 is like a records, course records, depending on course and stuff. And it's like 80s are good and those. And I'm just like, I'm thinking at first, well, geez, that's a lot more than the 100. And it's like if they could just run the 100 in 20, sleep for 8 hours, and just wake up and do it again, they would beat the course record. And he's just like, well, it's not like that. But I'm talking to ChatGPT. But it's like nobody actually tries that. So the thing that I was learning was that pretty much nobody sleeps almost at all the whole time. They'll sleep like 1 to 3 hours mostly. For like he says, the elite sleep 1 to 3 hours. The people that suck will sleep. They don't care as much. They'll sleep 3 to 5 hours. Some people maybe sleep the total 5 to 8. And then he's like, well, yeah, I mean, by towards the end, people are running over 30-minute mile. They're doing over 30-minute miles. They're zombie walking. They're all these problems, and their muscles are so deteriorated, and they're getting lost and blah blah. And every single problem, I'm just like, well, sleep would solve that problem. So I was just like, well, geez. So if I can run, so I was thinking if I can run, what was it? A 12-minute mile would do 5 miles in an hour, and the 20 do 100 miles in 20 hours. Seems doable. 12-minute mile, pretty doable. And I knew that, like, from school, that kids in school could walk around the track and get 15-minute mile. So anyways, so I knew 12 minutes seemed pretty reasonable to do. And then, do that for 100 miles, then you could sleep, like a full sleep, and then wake up, do it again, and you could get the course record. So I got pretty motivated at this point because I saw an opportunity to possibly, like, win something like this, win a contest that would be fairly remarkable for me to be winning, since I'm not a long distance runner. But I felt like I had, like, it's one of those opportunities that haven't been tapped into yet, because even ChatGPT was saying nobody has really tried sleeping all the way, because, like, nobody wants to be the guinea pig and do it, like no good elite runner, and it's like I don't know. So I feel like, on a strategic basis, I could really put myself in a position to kind of win. And plus, it's not exactly long distance running. I mean, nobody runs the whole thing, and it's like mega long distance, which is kind of my thing, and 2-day endurance, which is sort of my thing and stuff. So it's more than just running, and so I thought there was a good opportunity there. So I also quit smoking weed at this point, right at the beginning of August, and that was mainly basically due to lung health. I was talking to ChatGPT, and one of the things that stood out to me was he said, I told him how much I've been smoking for the last decade, like pretty much all day, every day. And he said, I've probably, with my alpha-1 antitrypsin deficiency, have probably lost 10% of my air sacs. And he said, if I do it for another 10 years like that, it'll be 40 to 50% total probably loss. And I was like, well, shit, I don't want to be in my 40s with 50% loss. And plus, I want to do this ultra marathon and stuff. So I decided I'd have to quit smoking. And at this point, at this time, mentally, I was ready to quit smoking. You know how I get through the times. I know how I get through the times that, yeah, I'm just like, when I'm smoking all the time, and I start to feel like, this ain't worth it. This don't even feel that good. It's a waste of time. So I was ready to quit anyways. So I quit smoking. And I didn't, going into that poker trip, I hadn't done any form of weed, no edibles or anything, for 3 weeks. Like a little over 3 weeks. And right after I quit smoking, like the days after, I got, because ChatGPT say about I forget what it's called, but it's a liquid and you like put it under your tongue. And I got that at the store, at the dispensary, but it was so, so not very much THC that you would have had to drink the whole bottle, which would have been disgusting. And it say to do like just a droplet, but when you look at the numbers, it's like one droplet ain't gonna do nothing. So I did like a bunch, and I didn't get nothing off it. I put that away. It's just disgusting. So, anyways, I felt like edibles didn't really do anything to me. That's how it always was when I was smoking and stuff. So I got edibles on the way up to the poker trip, and I thought it would be good to take edibles and get high while I'm playing poker, which was probably kind of stupid because it makes you kind of paranoid, but I thought it'd be nice. And so I did that. I took 90 milligrams, and when I got there, I start feeling it. It starts hitting me. I took it on the way up there. I start feeling it. It's hitting me pretty good, and it's getting pretty uncomfortable. And by the time I get a seat, it's pretty uncomfortable. And I get a seat, and I think it's... No, I think it was just Hold'em. I can't remember. But it might have been Omaha. I can't even remember, man. But I was very uncomfortable. I was physically uncomfortable. Like hot sweats, nauseous. Vision having issues. My head was like hurting and like feeling like gonna pass out, and yeah. I played for like, I don't even know, 5 or 6 hands, maybe not even, and it was like, too, like I couldn't, yeah, I felt so bad that like talking to the people would have, like saying I gotta go would have hurt too much, so I didn't say anything. I just grabbed my chips, took them, and the dealer's like, "You out of here?" And I'm like, "Yeah." I start walking out. My vision is. This is the Thursday night when I get there. My vision goes black, and it's like zoning in black and getting to the point, yeah, I can't really hardly see at all almost. And I get to a slot machine, and I sit down, and I put my head down, and I kind of am in and out of sleep. And then security comes up, tell me, I gotta go. I tell them I don't feel good, that I can't move, and they you can't stay here. And so I go, and I was kind of worried that I would pass out. But I make it to the van, and I go to sleep, and I sleep hard for like a while. And yeah, then I woke up, and I crushed it Friday, Saturday, Sunday, crushed them for 13,000. Unfortunately, I missed the Thursday, but maybe it was for the best. Anyways, so there was that, and then for the next, for the next 3 months, so it was like 4 months total. It was up until Thanksgiving, or like right before Thanksgiving. I didn't smoke at all, and I was getting more and more into edibles, sort of, but I was continuing like so. It was for a while that it was like just not really working very well for me. It was uh, hitting me too hard or not at all. Like if I didn't take enough, it was not at all, but also I was getting the 100 milligram gummies and having to take pieces of them, so it was harder to measure. Um, but yeah, and um, whenever I was feeling it, it wasn't feeling very good. The high wasn't really feeling very good, so I wasn't really loving it. And I was not, I was going through phases. I would go for like a week without edibles, and I would get a pack, and I would take them like every day or maybe twice a day, like maybe morning and evening, or maybe just once a day. A lot of times it was just evening. Um, and yeah, um, yeah, and I wasn't really liking it, but in a way, like sometimes it was, and it was like it was getting better as it was going because it was like less. Um, yeah, my tolerance was getting better. Like the high was getting better. It was less so like shitty feeling because it was making me feel shitty and like my head felt bad. Anyways, so it kind of went like that for quite a few months, and I guess I was starting to take the edibles maybe more and more often, but it still was like not like rare that I would just like have a day of no marijuana at all, and it felt fine, sort of. It pretty much felt fine, especially for the first 2 months. It felt totally fine. Um, but also for the first couple months, like I had these other things going on, and I wasn't that busy with work. And I was like, running and exercising and stuff. And then, so then I, uh, well, I should say, so yeah, and a little bit before, like, kind of what I'm about to get to, is that, the subbing the jobs. I did try to sub one job out to the Steven guy that worked for me before. Never worked, like, for me, but I basically subbed an aspect of a job out to him for. He's more of a drywall guy. Anyway, I subbed it out to him because I wanted to keep going and playing poker every weekend. And I subbed to him. I went to Kansas City that weekend. I lost like 600 on the whole trip in Kansas City. The action was not what I was hoping for, and I should have just went to St. Louis. And when they played double board bomb pot, they were taking double rake, which is pretty hard to beat. And so then that guy fucked me over. He's like, I'm too soft, but he was like saying I got done right after I left. It's like he wants paid. I held out 250. I get there. It was a complete disaster. He's like misses all over. It was a complete terrible job. There's messes that weren't cleaned up. It was terrible. So I had to finish that, and I was so pissed. And so after that, I didn't do another poker trip for the whole year because well, I also that 13,000 I lost. Like we spent a lot of it and stuff, but I lost like not like over half of it, but I lost a fair amount of it in the stock market. What was it this time? It was on options on I can't remember. I think some of it was about MSTR for Bitcoin. Can't remember if any of it. Some of it might have been about GameStop. Yeah, it was about GameStop. I was betting against GameStop again. GameStop always burns me. Anyway, so and I end up getting like 4 exterior jobs. And now we're like pretty late in the fall, and so I gotta get these exterior jobs going. I've been all by myself. I end up I put a post out, hire a couple guys. Now they're smoking weed at work. I don't know if it was that or if it was just. I think it had to do with me being busy with work, um, and I mean it's probably a little bit of both. But we were like being busy with work and having all that stress or just whatever, like not the no other enjoyment going on, and having people work for me, is kind of a stressor. I start really kind of wanting to smoke weed pretty bad, and they're smoking, and I'm just like kind of wanting. It's starting to hit craving a little bit, and those kids mostly didn't really work out. One of the kids I kept for a while or something, but still for a while I didn't smoke and everything. And then it was like a week before Thanksgiving or so, and I decided, you know what, if I smoke once every 3 months, that's going to have like no effect on my lungs. So how about I do that? So I smoked once. Now I should have done it when I hadn't taken edibles for a while, but I had been taking edibles the days before. Not that day, but the days before. So I smoked. It was supposed to be like a big experience. It really wasn't. It wasn't that good. I didn't get very high. It tasted worse and everything like that. Like, you felt the taste more. I didn't get very high. So the next day, I was like, you know what? I didn't get my fill. So I'm going to smoke one more time. See if it hits me better this time. So I do that. Then I think I did take a day or so off, and then me and Danny were doing our own Thanksgiving meal at our house, and I wanted to be high for that, so I smoked for that. Then a couple days later, we were doing it at my mom's house, so I wanted to be high for that, and I smoked for that for the family Thanksgiving. And then I wanted to be high for Black Friday shopping. And then after that, I don't remember if I took any days off or not, but I decided, oh, well, the thing was, so after that, I was slammed with work. Right after Thanksgiving, this is when the 2 interiors had me slammed. And, well, the 1 interior, and then the next one starts quickly, too. So, like, I already had the next one on the job, but it just wasn't ready yet. So, now I'm working, like, heavy duty, and I'm feeling, like, I'm going to smoke the rest of the 8th, because I'm working so much, and I need that sort of thing. So I was going to smoke just the rest of the 8th, and then I smoked the rest of the 8th, and I'm like, first of all, I'm kind of, like, having this feeling, too, of, like, really appreciating weed again, where I was when I quit, I was like not appreciating weed. I was like, like fuck that, I don't need. Now I'm like, having this newfound love for it, even though my highs weren't like blasting me off or anything like that. But in fact, the highs are getting to the point now where they're like not good again, and I have to smoke way too much to like feel it. So I'm getting to the point again where I'm like, I have to cut back, because that's what it's going to lead to. That's kind of my problem, is that I'm not good at portion control. I just want to keep hammering. And part of the reason I want to keep hammering is because it's like, well, if I smoked, I want to, well, I guess it's not about how much I smoke at one time, though. It's really about how often I smoke, and that's what I got to cut back on. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not good at that, I guess. But I mean, I haven't really been taking it to work or anything. I mean, sometimes on those interiors, I was getting like a pre-roll and smoking it at work and stuff, but not very often. Well, not that often. So, anyways, yeah, and so it was gonna be just the 8th, and it was like, well, I'm stressed with all this work. I'm gonna smoke till the end of the year, or I'll smoke till the end of the job, which was supposed to be the end of the year, but I finished the job on like the 7th or something, 8th, and then, though, I had discovered this dryer vaporizer, which apparently makes it like almost no impact on your lungs. So that's the plan. And that's the plan, to get that as soon as I get that money coming in, which is in 2 days. So once I heard about that, I was like, well, fuck it, I'm just going to keep smoking then until I get that, because now it shouldn't be too big a deal. So that's the plan there. Oh, yeah, so that's the plan with the weed. But as far as the running and all the stuff, I don't think I ever mentioned that I got running shoes and everything, and I was jogging, and I was like, my plan was to not jog very much and just mainly work out, and that I was maybe doing that, but I was jogging though a fair amount still, like every other day or so. And I just wanted to get to the point where I knew I could do it. I didn't want to jog a fuck ton all the time, like when you already know you can do it. But I had to get to the point where I knew I could do it, and I was gonna do these tests too. But I was jogging down my road goes for like a mile or two of pretty much downhill, sometimes steep, sometimes not so steep. And I started like one day I was like free flying down the hill, really going fast, really letting it rip, just letting gravity take me. It was big impact on the hip. And the next day I really felt that impact on the hip. And then when I went jogging after that, ever since then, I would feel the pain on the hip, and I wasn't even jogging that much, and I wasn't doing the free fly thing anymore. And so when it was like the next time I went jogging, I went down that road, and I think I did try like going flying down the hills again, maybe, and it was hurting, and then I was like not doing that, and then it was getting to the point though on a couple like a run or two where I was like walking the downhills, and but my hip was still hurting so bad. Like if I tried to do 6 miles, my hip was hurting so bad. I was having a hard time making it back, and then I took 3 weeks off and then came back and did the other direction, which is all flats. And after 2 miles, my hip was hurting really bad. So I decided, which I think was a great decision for me, really, was like even besides the hip thing, because the MMA thing, like I got to get a move on that, and that's really where the money is, and where my real, success where there's more, a better market for success. So I decided, because of the hip pain though, to quit with the running, and can't even remember now if it was my right or left hip. It's my left hip. But quit with the running, and I was doing exercises during those 3 weeks that were supposed to like help with that stuff, but it didn't work. Anyway, I decided to quit with the running and move on to the MMA. And so towards the end of the fall there, in like November-ish, this is before Thanksgiving, definitely, October, November, I guess. Yeah, maybe even some in September. I can't remember, but I moved into the MMA. I started training for MMA and working out for it and hitting the bag. And then I got the most serious about the MMA this last year that I've gotten before. So I went to the gym in Jeff City, and I was gonna start there. And then I decided I should do the one in Columbia, but then kind of didn't have any money. And then I got busy with work, and so I still haven't started. Don't really want to take the van up there. It's not even registered, plated, and no money. I was having no time. Now I'm going to have money and time, and I'm going to start. So by February, I should be starting there. Training at the gym in Columbia. So yeah, and actually before the gym thing, I was trying to get a fight with like Shamrock. I wanted a professional. I was emailing and sending every promotion in Missouri saying I'm ready for my professional debut. And none of them will take me until I get a gym and coach backing. And that'll make the corner thing easier, I guess. And also, apparently in Missouri, you have to have 5 amateur fights with a winning record to get a professional fight. Which ChatGPT disputes, but I think it's true. So anyways, yeah, and there was one other thing about the year that I just thought of that was important to note. Can't think of it. But I'll touch on for next year too. Where was I here? Let me think here. Oh, well, there was a little bit more that happened, though, this year. This isn't what I was thinking of, but, man, what was I thinking about? Oh, the house. Yes, I was thinking about the house on the property. The house on the property, and then the thing I was just now thinking about was, fuck, now I forgot about that. Oh, the dogs. So the house and the dogs. So the house on the property. So at the beginning of this year, February, uh, Ernie moved out of that house, and we decided that we should sell it. And my mom already split the properties. Selling it will be great for us. And I, so I was gonna do like a few odds and ends or whatever. It was when Ernie moved out, it was full of shit. He left it full of everything. It was destroyed, left full of furniture and also trash and poop and everything. It was in bad shape. So I had to clean all that out. So I was trying to clean that out. I was having a really big problem with Brandy and Jeff's dogs throughout this year. They were causing me severe problems because what was happening, so they had a pack of like 10 dogs. It was the 4 black dogs, and then there's Nova and the mother of the black dogs, and then the old lady that was living with them had 2 dogs. And anyway, so um, she had 3 dogs actually, and there's also Chewy. So Chewy is actually kind of a problem too. So yeah, at first we were friendly with them, but they started beating up Dexter really badly. Just circling him and closing him and just beating him up really bad. So I started so whenever they'd get on our property, I would be really aggressive towards them. And then that caused them to not like me and start to be aggressive towards me, but only when they felt like they had the upper hand. So they wouldn't like aggress me when I'd be like up at my property or by my porch, or whatever, but if they caught me down at the end of the driveway or at the other house, they wouldn't. So that was the problem with working at the other house. I mean, they were putting me in really, really dangerous situations. They had a few opportunities where they really almost like destroyed me. Like there was one situation where they all took off after me across the driveway. Well, because Chewy, they were all like up at the driveway, but Chewy's the smallest one's always the bravest, and he come up right on my feet, and I kicked at him, and when I kicked at him, the whole pack took off after me, and I barely got through the door, and they were going to destroy me, I'm sure. And then, yeah, and we were getting pepper spray. We had pepper spray. We went through like 6 cans of pepper spray, and the pepper spray wasn't really fully working. They would, whenever I was trying to go from the house to the shop, they would come up on me, and I would like spray them to keep them back, but they would only stay so far back and keep coming back in. And they were also kind of bullshit. Like if I was ever talking to Jeff in the driveway and then I turned my back and walked inside, they would try to ambush me from behind. They did the same thing to Dexter. And they also started whipping up on Calliope. And they would catch her when she was vulnerable too, like when she was shitting one time. I never saw these situations, but she had shit all over her ass and everything, and she was all cut up and limping and everything. Anyways, and like the one time I caught him with Dexter, like I heard the barking, and I come out, and they were destroying Dexter, and right up on our porch, and they might have, I don't know, if maybe they would have killed him. I mean, he was ripped totally open. There was like 6 dogs still like ripping up on him. He's just laying on his back. But anyway, Danny saw it a couple times where they would enclose him, and I saw that once too. They enclosed him, and then we stopped it. But anyways, you tell Brandy and Jeff they didn't give a shit. They'd say, "Then shoot him, Dylan. Then shoot him, Dylan." It's like, So anyways, it's like I don't even have a gun. So I was having a big problem with them, and I got a pepper ball gun, which was like around this time towards the fall, or well, in like the summer, I guess. Got a pepper ball gun. Shoot pepper balls at them. Which was it was like $250, and then all the other stuff. It's like a pretty decent expense, but we literally had to. And then after I bought that pepper ball gun, I took the trash down. I'm on my way back. The 4 black dogs come up and cross the driveway right away, back me into the house, and they're enclosing on me with their, how dogs show that they're about to tear into you. They're, getting closer and closer and closer, and about to tear you up. and definitely not going to back off. And I'm backed into the house, and they're going to seize your moment. I'm getting that gun out, but I got to puncture the fucking cart, and I get the cart punctured just in time, and I fire it off just in time. Saved my ass. So that thing fucking saved me. And then I would shoot at them all the time, and they would kind of be scared of that. But if I ever didn't have something on me, they kind of knew. And also, they were still beating up Dexter, so couldn't fucking couldn't really take that anymore. So that's where the new dogs, come in. But to wrap up about the house, though, yeah. So at first, well, we get the new dogs around this time because it's such a problem, and we get Anatolian Shepherds, and we're gonna just get one Anatolian Shepherd male, and the lady was gonna cut $50 off if we took a second one. She just wanted to get rid of them, so we did that. So we got two Bane Boss. Anatolian Shepherds are big, and they fucking breed like kills wolves and stuff, so pretty badass. And I'd never heard of the breed, but it was ChatGPT's suggestion from the situation we're in. He said, they're badass and they can control the other dogs, keep the other dogs back, which they could. They're fucking beasts. So they're only like 9 months old now. So they just turned 10 months old. Wait, can't be 10 months old. They were born in April. They just turned 9 months old. Yeah, so they're 9 months old. So anyways, so we got them because of their dogs. But shortly after we got them, Brandy went to jail, and when Brandy went to jail, Jeff got rid of two of the dogs, and then Brandy come back. She fighting with the old lady. She kicked Jeff out. The old lady moved out. So then it was just Brandy, and she just had the two of the black dogs, one of the female, and then the biggest, most aggressive one, and then Nova and Chewy. And Sunday was like I could kind of work on the house, and so I got the house kind of like all cleared out and all this stuff. And in the fall, I had it all cleared out and cleaned out, but I didn't do any repairs. And I decided I just want to sell it, and just, even though I'll take a hit on it, but it's going to take too long to get the money in time for these repairs. So I just want to sell it. We only owe, $70,000 on it. Let's just get a profit out of it and call it good, because then I'll get the trailer too and stop having to make a house payment. 2 realtors looked at it. They didn't even want to list it. I don't even understand that. I mean, for an investor to buy that for $80,000. I mean, I told them it was a fixer-upper. One of the realtors says, well, if somebody buys this, they're going to immediately have to put work and money into it. It's like, well, yeah, it's a fixer-upper. It's fucking what it is. I mean, it's in the name. So it didn't make any sense. I think an investor would, get a steal of a deal buying that thing for $80,000. You could hire everything out, pay everything out, put however much into it, you're gonna make a huge return. But anyway, they didn't want to do it, and so then after the second one, I decided, I was like, fuck it, I'll just do this. They're talking about like, oh well, there's no floor, and they're cutting off like $30,000 for it. And I was like, fuck, dude, I can do the floor for, if I had a customer pay me $10,000 to the floor, that'd be a steal of a deal. So it's like, I'll just do the floor. And I'm just like, I'll just do all this stuff. So I want to do big remodel, but I haven't had the time or money to do it yet. And so yeah, so that's a big thing for this year, is I'm going to put a lot of time and money into that house, and hopefully sell it for like a lot, and be able to come out with like $50,000, on top. So yeah, that covers the dogs and the house. Now we have 6 dogs, 2 cats, and now we have 2 goats and the chickens. This year we'll get some more goats here and there. I hit a buck this year, and I took it home and butchered it. That was pretty cool. I think that kind of summarizes this year as far as I can think. Or 2025 last year. For 2026, geez, we're already almost a month into it, but what I'm expecting for 2026 are looking for... Well, first of all, towards the end of last year, decided that Oklahoma City was where I would like to move to, and Danny is on board, but doing my research, that seems like the best place. Texas is a bit too expensive. So, hopefully this year, we can get the house sold, make a lot of money, and that maybe will give us an opportunity to move to Oklahoma City. I have a big decision to make, really, with the whole painting business here. Like, I could put the money towards growing not just the painting business, but Right Homes and Remodeling. Even start doing some moving. Get a commercial. It would be very helpful, even just for the painting business, to have a commercial property, downtown warehouse, somewhere I can clean my brushes and stuff and store my stuff. I could, you know, grow bigger business, but there has to be an off ramp. And the off ramp seems difficult. Somebody to take it over, sell it to, whatever. It seems difficult to find an off ramp. So the other option is don't put that into it. Just get what I can out of it until it's done, and then, you know, maybe just get a little into it, but don't try to build a bigger business by putting more time and money and all this into it. Because once you start putting that investment into it, now it's something you don't want to walk away from, for sure. That'll suck to have to walk away from it then. So I'll have a decision to make this year. Do I want to... And I feel like this year for painting so far seems like it's going good. Lately, though, I've been making my bids like really, really high, that it's just like kind of obvious it's not going to get accepted. Anyways, I would like to see, it's tough. It's like I can make pretty good. Like, I may only make 23, 22 an hour last year. That's not good money at all. But it's like, seems like, this year I think I can make 30 to 40 an hour at least painting, or actually I think I can make 40 or more. And that's good money, especially like if I can, avoid taxes on some of it. That's good money, and yeah, hard to, you know, but I would like to do some other things, perhaps. So maybe this year, hopefully I can play more poker, see how the poker stuff goes. The problem with playing a lot of live poker is it's a lot of sitting on your ass and not eating as well, maybe. And that's like a huge problem. And staying up all night. And not being with your family. And just being away. Online poker could be great. I really don't feel like playing on the computer anymore, but maybe I would. The only way that would be great as well, though, I'd have to get a whole new setup with the treadmill. Although, like, that was kind of more of an idea when I was doing the running thing, but still sitting on my ass doesn't seem like a good idea. Maybe figure something out with that. Be doing, like, workouts as I'm playing, I guess. I really don't feel like playing on the computer anymore, though, and whatever, but then again, I don't, feel like painting really anymore. I don't mind it that much, but I really like to sleep in and then not be there that late, too, which really doesn't work out that well. This year, though, I would like to get back to Vegas this summer. I don't know, it's just kind of like one fun thing I get to do. One thing that's interesting from last year is that I started playing basketball again for the first time in like 10, 11, 12 years. Started going to Old Man's again, and I'm not doing too bad. I'm not too bad, really. So, yeah, it's interesting. It's fun. I really enjoy it. I really like to play, actually. I see it's like, but it's good exercise. Otherwise, it's sort of waste time. It's like I'm more motivated by the fun, but whatever. So I'll continue to play probably this year. This year I want to definitely start fighting. And yeah, I'll carry on the painting business. I'll probably get Right Homes and Remodeling going more so. I think I will do a happy median probably on the whole painting aspect, because I'm gonna want to get Right Homes and Remodeling started anyways, probably. And yeah, there may be some minor off ramps I can take to make a little something off it. Anyways, otherwise for this year, to get that house sold, and I don't know. There's probably some other things I'm not thinking of. Oh, I should propose to Danny, I suppose. Probably some other things I'm not thinking of, but I think I covered this for a journal entry. I covered the 2025, I think, pretty well. 2026 predictions. What kind of predictions do I have? things I'm going to do other than what I said. Oh, I would like to get up to 200 pounds before my cutting down for MMA. Oh, yeah, that's something about my weight this year. Like, earlier this year, I didn't have a digital scale, so it's a little hard to tell, but I was in the 150s, and I do believe I was even in the 140s sometimes. And I think that's how it's been, for the last quite a few years. Actually, though, this year, in, and like for reference, like in high school, as like a senior, I was like 160, 165. And then when I would go to college, I would be 180 to 185, and in the summers I would start falling back into the 160s, and then when I was at school, I was always in the 180s. And even my last year, I tried to get a little bigger, and I even got into the 190s and even hit 200. But yeah, but then, yeah, in January, in January I started working out for MMA as well, in 2025, and I started eating, I guess you could say better, but I basically was like not being so lazy about cooking at home, and I was making at that time I was making a lot of pork, potatoes, eggs, and eating those big meals, and it was definitely putting the weight on, and I got into the 170s pretty quickly, and so that was quite a jump, and that was pretty cool. And then got kind of busy with work and all the stuff, and kind of quit working out in the through the spring and summer, and then I basically was working out through January until I hired Mike, and then it was like as soon as I hired Mike, I quit working out. And I didn't work out again until like the fall or whatever, but yeah, and I kind of quit like eating like good too, and I just started eating McDonald's and not cooking at home and stuff more. And so I fell back into the 150s, and then in August I started eating right again, and then in the winter and stuff, I was in the late fall, I was eating the buffet a lot too, and I got up to 180 there for a while, but yeah, then I got so busy and I wasn't eating as well. I was eating, I wasn't eating as well, and I got down back to like 170. I'm like 170 right now, but yeah, like get up to 200 before I cut down. I don't know. I just think it'd be cool, but also I think it'd be like maybe helpful whenever I cut weight, maybe just be somehow naturally bigger whenever I reload. Um, yeah. Anything else for 2026? I don't know. Hopefully the dog situation goes well. Keep I need to get Bane and Baz. I need to train them pretty well. And get the goats a little bit more. So the goats go up front. Oh, Brandy's. I didn't mention that. Towards the end of the year, Brandy's trailer burned down, and they moved out. Well, Brandy and the dogs moved out, and so they're pretty much gone. They've been actually kind of coming over though, like staying in a tent and stuff, and bringing their dogs over. And every time they do, their dogs are beating up Dexter. But yeah, that's pretty good. I guess they're out of there. That's pretty much it. I mean, as far as money goes, it's kind of like I'll see how the poker thing goes. I'll see how the online thing goes. What I think I'm gonna do is, well, what I was wanting to do was bid my jobs really high, and just only work when it's like a gouging basically, and make a really good hourly, and then not be that busy and have a lot of downtime to where I can also play poker but not be all the time, because if I'm playing poker all the time, like I say, it's kind of unhealthy, and I can work on the house and get the house ready and stuff. The only problem with that is Mike is starting to work tomorrow, and now it's like I have to keep him busy, but I'll get this figured out, because I don't know Mike too much since he kind of bailed on me and was spotty last time, and he'll probably be spotty again. And I start trying to do more YouTube and try to make money on YouTube. I'm fucking lousy about it. I should have stayed after it before. That was lousy. I think I'm gonna cut it there though. Cool. Journal post 2026. Let's do this thing. We'll do this thing. I don't know. Three things to add to the 2026 portion. Number one is that I think I don't know if it's going to come out in 2026 exactly. Maybe later. But I think that there's going to be quite a bit of alien revealed stuff from the government. I think some of the most wild things are true, such as we've recovered and have had communications with, possibly worked with, all these things. And I think a lot of that's going to get revealed soon-ish, at least in the next 10 years, but could be 2026. Erica Kirk and Turning Point USA, I think they're guilty. If they're not guilty, I think they got a very convenient coincidence that they are still very happy with the result. But I think they're guilty. There's so much about the Erica Kirk stuff, so there's that. Probably won't come out or anything, but and then the last thing is I just want to mention that I'm not a huge fan of J.D. Vance, and he's going to be the Republican nominee pretty much surely, and I'm not a big fan of that. That's it. I mean, he's okay. But there's better. I mean, it's just because he's VP. Like, there were other people that were more better, like Marco Rubio. So